Welcome. Today we're diving into a really gripping story. It's frankly quite chilling. Happened last year in South Korea.
Yeah, this one really made waves internationally, didn't it? It touches on some, well, uncomfortable things.
Exactly. Desperation, wealth, the dark side of digital finance. You've got some really compelling sources for us today, so let's unpack this.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so our story kicks off in Gangnam, Seoul. Now, you probably picture Gangnam, luxury, super modern, bustling place.
Right, high-end businesses, money, nightlife, very high-tech, very visible.
Yeah, incredibly secure, you'd think. CCTV everywhere.
Yeah.
But despite all that, it became the setting for this really shocking crime.
Kind of defies expectations for a place like that.
It really does. So at its heart, this deep dive is about a woman, highly respected, vanished from a big financial company. And the police, they pretty quickly found these unexpected links to the crypto world.
Yeah, a volatile world, to say the least.
Absolutely. We're going to follow the investigation using the reports you've gathered and try to, peel back the layers. It's complex and tragic.
Definitely.
So let's paint the picture. It's March 29th, 2023. The victim, Miss Choi, she's 48. And your sources describe her as, well, exceptional.
Completely professional, dedicated, reliable, a perfectionist, really.
Always early, never missed meetings, just this key person at her company. Actually, on the verge of becoming vice president, her life seemed, totally on track.
A clear path, yeah. Success story.
So, that night, Miss Choi worked late. Not unusual for her. She gets a rideshare home to her apartment right there in Gangnam.
Standard routine, sounds like.
Exactly. Around 11:45 p.m., the car drops her off right outside her building. But this is where it just goes sideways. She never made it inside.
Vanished. Just gone.
Vanished. Into thin air, it seemed, despite all the cameras. So the next morning, she doesn't show up for work. And for someone like her, that immediately sets off alarms.
Right. That's not just unusual, it's unthinkable for someone with her reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Her family must have known something was seriously wrong straight away.
They did. They reported her missing to the police immediately.
And you can see why the police would take that very seriously from the get-go. Her whole profile just screamed that this wasn't someone who'd just disappear. It signals something violent, potentially.
Absolutely. And the police, they moved fast. Really fast. Started pulling CCTV footage right away. And what they found was, well, it was harrowing.
What did it show?
It showed two men ambushing Miss Choi right by her apartment gate. They just grabbed her, violently dragged her into a car. You could see her screaming for help.
Oh, wow. Horrifying. Just right there on camera.
Yeah, and even though it was late, Gangnam's still busy, people were around, some saw it happen.
Good Samaritans, thankfully.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah.
They called the police right away. So you've got eyewitness reports plus crystal clear CCTV of the getaway car's license plate.
That's huge for the investigation. A massive head start.
Incredible speed. They were on it almost immediately. Miss Choi's phone went off around 2:35 a.m., but by then the police were already tracking that vehicle.
Hot on their trail.
Exactly. This rapid police work, driven by the fear that she was in immediate danger, led to the first arrests very quickly. Eun-hee, 29, and Hwang, 35.
Wow, that is fast.
Yeah.
From abduction report to suspects in custody.
Yeah, a really quick turnaround. But like you often see in these cases, it wasn't that simple. These two, they quickly pointed fingers at someone else. Their mastermind.
Oh, okay, so they weren't acting alone.
Apparently not. They named a third guy, Lee Kyeong-won, 35 years old. So police picked him up too. All three arrested very quickly.
So 3 in custody. Did they start talking?
Not at first. They were pretty tight-lipped. But the police leaned on Eun-hee and Hwang, the first two, and eventually they broke.
And confessed.
Yeah. But the confession was devastating. They admitted Miss Choi was already dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that they'd buried her body in this remote, desolate spot miles from the city.
God, that's the worst outcome. Even with the fast police work, they couldn't prevent it. That must have been incredibly hard for the investigators. A real mix of relief finding her, but just despair.
Absolutely heartbreaking. So, based on their directions, the police found Miss Choi's body. The autopsy confirmed it. Murdered shortly after the abduction.
And the cause of death.
Grim findings. Traces of a strong surgical sedative in her system, plus bruises, signs of assault, and strangulation. It immediately told them this wasn't just a kidnapping gone wrong.
Sedatives suggest planning, control, maybe torture.
That's what they started thinking. So the big question was motive. These 3 guys. No obvious connection to Miss Choi. Family didn't know them. Colleagues didn't know them.
Screams higher job, doesn't it?
Exactly, like they were just the muscle or the tools. So the focus shifts to Lee Kyeong-won, the supposed mastermind. What's his story?
Okay, let's look at him.
Well, your sources show a history of failed businesses. He had a gym that went under, and crucially, he'd lost almost everything, his life savings, investing in this cryptocurrency, P-coin.
Keycoin. Originated in Gangnam, you said. The irony.
Right, came full circle. P-coin sounds like one of those, highly speculative coins, probably not much real tech behind it, value totally based on hype.
Yeah, classic setup for manipulation. Pump and dumps thrive on those. Lee probably got burned badly.
Looks like it. But here's the twist with Lee. His past wasn't just failed businesses. He had this, well, frankly, kind of scary background. Former South Korean Special Forces even did military intelligence, spying on North Korea.
Wow. Okay. That changes things. He's not just some desperate guy. He's trained, skilled, potentially very dangerous.
Exactly. A total paradox. Failed financially, but highly capable physically and mentally.
Yeah, that combination is unsettling. You see it sometimes, people with those kinds of skills, when they face total ruin, financial desperation.
Yeah.
The psychological pressure can make them cross lines they wouldn't otherwise. They might even use those skills in darker ways, chillingly efficient ways, potentially.
And this is where it gets really tragic, how he connects to Miss Choi. Turns out, 2 years before all this, Lee, having lost everything in P-coin, he actually approached her.
Approach Miss Choi. Why her?
Because her company, the one she was about to be VP of, had invested in P-coin. So Lee goes to her, basically pleads for help, tells her how desperate he is, how it's wrecked his family. He had a wife, 2 kids.
Miss Choi?
She felt sorry for him, showed incredible kindness, actually. She lent him money, and she even offered him a job using his old gym experience as a trainer for her company's employees.
Wow. So she really tried to help him out. An act of compassion.
A huge act of compassion. But it seems Lee kept asking for more money, persistent borrowing. Eventually, Miss Choi had to kind of distance herself, cut off the financial help.
Understandable. Generosity has limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, fast forward to late 2022. The motive starts to crystallize, according to the police reports. It becomes known that Miss Choi had a significant amount of crypto, worth millions, in her personal digital wallet.
So Lee knew she had personal wealth, separate from the company, and he was desperate.
Exactly. Police theory. Lee knew about the money, knew she'd cut him off, and he hatched this plan. Abduct her, torture her, force her to give up her crypto wallet password.
And the autopsy findings.
Yeah.
The assault. The sedatives. That fits that horrifying picture, doesn't it?
No.
Forced extraction.
Chillingly, yes. And then this other crucial piece falls into place. That sedative, remember, it was a specific surgical type.
Yeah, not something easy to get hold of.
Police traced it. And guess who they traced it to? Lee's wife.
His wife.
Seriously.
Turned out she was a nurse, worked at a plastic surgery clinic right there in Gangnam. She confessed to getting the drug for him.
Oh my God. So she was in on it. An accomplice.
Arrested as an accomplice, yeah. Just adds another layer of darkness to it all.
Wow. That detail, the specific sedative, that's classic detective work, isn't it? It's a tiny thread that unravels a bigger part of the conspiracy. It connects Lee directly to the memes and implicates someone completely new. Even careful plans can fall apart on small details like that. Definitely. So now, with Lee and his wife implicated, Lee himself starts talking more. And he points fingers again. Says he wasn't the real mastermind.
Oh, so even deeper layers.
Apparently. He implicates 2 more people. Yoo Sang-won and Hwang Eun-hee. A wealthy business couple in their 40s and late 50s.
A couple. And they were the true masterminds. According to Lee, what was their connection?
P-coin again. Your sources say this couple, Yoo and Hwang, they were big players in P-coin, investors, but also market makers.
Market makers.
Yeah.
Okay, so in crypto terms, that often means they were manipulating the price, right? The pump and dump thing.
Exactly. Basically, they'd use their money to artificially inflate the price, a pump, get everyone else excited, buying in. Then they'd sell off their holdings at the peak, the dump.
Leaving everyone else holding worthless coins when the price crashes. Yeah, it's deceptive, often illegal. Ruins smaller investors.
And here's the kicker. Remember Miss Choi back in December 2020? In her role as an advisor related to P-coin, she had actually identified this couple's suspicious activity, the market manipulation. And she reported it internally.
Wow. So she was trying to expose them years earlier, that act of integrity.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she felt sorry for Lee later. She knew people like him were victims of exactly what she saw happening.
Very likely, yeah. She understood the damage they were doing. But it gets even messier.
How so?
This couple, Yoo and Hwang, They had actually sued Miss Choi.
Sued her? What for?
Accused her of mismanaging their investments in P-coin. Can you believe it?
That's audacious. So there was bad blood, a long-standing, really nasty conflict between them. Not just recent animosity.
Definitely volatile. So the police put together their final theory. Miss Choi, it seems, wasn't just sitting back. She was actively trying to hire a hacker, an overseas one, to dig up everything about the P-coin manipulation. Who was involved, how deep it went.
Okay, so she was escalating things, trying to get proof.
Right. And the police believe the couple, Yu and Hwang, they found out. Feared being exposed, maybe feared retaliation for the lawsuit too. So they decided to silence her.
And they hired Lee Kyeong-won to do it.
That's the theory. They hire Lee, he's desperate for cash. He knows Miss Choi also has personal crypto wealth.
So he sees a dual opportunity, get paid by the couple and maybe extort Miss Choi's crypto for himself.
Exactly. A job plus a potential personal jackpot.
It ties it all together, but it still has that strange element you mentioned earlier, the execution.
Yeah, the paradox. Special forces guy, presumably careful planners. But the abduction is brazen in a high surveillance zone. The burial site isn't exactly hidden in the wilderness. It seems almost sloppy in parts.
Which, ironically, might be why the police cracked it so fast. Maybe the desperation or the complexity of managing multiple motives led to mistakes. Even skilled people can get sloppy under pressure.
Could be. So following all this, Lee Kyeong-won and Hwang Eun-hee are arrested. They deny everything, of course. But the authorities in South Korea took the step of publicly releasing their identities.
Which, yeah, in that context, usually signals the police are pretty confident they've got the right people, even before trial.
Right. And the courts eventually delivered verdicts. Lee Kyeong-won, the ex-special forces guy, and Hwang Da-han, one of the initial abductors. Life in prison for murder, even though they later tried to deny intent.
Life? Okay. And the other initial guy?
Eun-hee, the one who confessed first. He got 25 years.
And the couple? The alleged masterminds?
Yu Sang-won got 8 years. Hwang Eun-hee got 6 years for fraud and involvement in the abduction.
Significant sentences, but less than life. Proving that direct order for murder, especially through layers of intermediaries, can be really tough legally.
It seems so. And interestingly, about Lee's wife, the nurse, your sources say there's no public info on her sentence.
Which might suggest she cooperated, maybe got a deal for testifying. Plausible.
Yeah, plausible. And one last note, Miss Choi's original fight, the lawsuit about the P-coin manipulation she was investigating, that's apparently still ongoing, even after her death.
Wow. So her efforts to expose them might still bear fruit, in a way.
In a sense, yeah. Her fight continues. So when you pull back and look at this whole thing, it's just a devastating story about greed, isn't it?
Boundless greed, yeah. And how it connects to desperation, digital finance, even misplaced kindness.
It really shows the dark side of, these unregulated crypto spaces. How acts of integrity can actually put you in danger, and how easily lives can just be dismantled.
And it's a sobering reminder, I think, for anyone involved in these new financial landscapes. The potential for exploitation is huge. It raises big questions about accountability, regulation, and just basic human morality when vast sums of money are involved, often detached from tangible reality.
Absolutely. We really have to commend the South Korean police here. Their speed, their efficiency, it was extraordinary. They couldn't save Miss Choi, tragically, but they brought those responsible to justice remarkably fast.
Agreed. Impressive police work under terrible circumstances.
So we encourage you, our listener, to think about the layers here. Miss Choi's kindness, Lee's desperation, the couple's alleged scheme, the crypto connection. It's a lot to take in. A truly powerful and heartbreaking story.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive, drawing on these insightful sources. We hope it gave you something to think about. Until next time, please take care.
Take care.
We'll be back soon with another story.